wanted to get another flight on this little Maule M7. The only adjustment I've made since the maiden flight is I've increased the movement on the rudder. That's the transmitter. I've had the transmitter powered up for 1 minute, so every minute it beeps you to let you know another minute has passed. So let's go ahead and get this in the air. I've got it in fully stabilized mode. I'm starting my timer now. All right, we're pointing into the wind. Let's go. Okay, so I just want to see. That's just rudder. That's just rudder. I'm just using rudder. I just wanted to see if I needed to increase it again. Alright, so that was right rudder. That's left rudder. Yeah, I will probably, that was full left rudder. This is full right rudder, so I will probably increase that to the maximum amount I can with the linkage. I'll have to pull the panel off the bottom and see how the linkage is connected to the servos. I've got one more hole I can put it in. You know, I don't have it in the inside hole on the rudder. I have it in the middle hole, so I still have some mechanical adjustment that I can make on it. Keep flying into the sun. But this is a very cool little plane, and you can make some pretty tight turns with it even in fully stabilized mode, which is what it's in right now. Check it out. that is a cool little plane, guys. Now I have one of my old 1S 550 milliamp hour lipos in it right now, because I've already blown it with the stock 500. I don't know how good of a battery this still is. I've had it for years. So I went through my parts bin the other day and pulled out all the little batteries, 1S batteries I had that I thought might work with this plane, still be good enough to use. So I've got a couple 550s and I've got a couple of 400s. So I'm just out here putting time on it, you know, to make sure what I want to do with the linkage. But in fully stabilized mode, I think it's handling really, really well. I don't have any complaints about the control authority. Look how tight that is. And I was using a little bit of aileron there and a little bit of rudder, just like right there. And you can make some tight radius turns with it. I don't know if you want to make them any tighter than the way I have it set up right now, but it seemed like the default setup for their linkage was really, really good. Look at that. Look how that wasn't even full rudder or full aileron, and it just spun right around. So, and nothing feels twitchy in stabilized mode, and we'll put it into 3D mode here again in a second. So let's gain a little altitude. Okay, so now we're in 3D mode, unrestricted. And like I said, I can't tell. It doesn't feel to me like I'm getting much of any input from the gyro in 3D mode. Ooh, I got a little twitchy there with it. All right, so let's come back through here and try a loop again. Come down here and get some speed. Now if you make abrupt movements with it, especially in some wind, not quite a loop, it will get a little twitchy. It was more like a stall turn there. So it does look like I'm getting a little bit of gyro input when I'm trying to loop with it. Let's see. Yeah, it definitely is. I can't tell it when I'm doing normal flight, but it does look like it when you are in 3D mode. It looks like you are getting a little bit of gyro input on the loops. Let's come through here and see if we could do let's see if we could do a stall turn with it. Well, that didn't work out. Maybe my battery just doesn't have enough, this old battery just doesn't have enough oomph, because I was pulling some pretty good loops with it. Yeah, I was pulling some pretty good loops with it with a stock LiPo, but I think this old LiPo just doesn't quite have enough oomph to, yeah, it's just not giving me the power that it was giving me with the stock battery. Unfortunately, otherwise I think it would do a nice clean loop like it did with the stock LiPo on the maiden flight. So I just wanted to check it out some more and make sure. I'm not sure I'm going to change I'm not sure I'm going to change the linkage on the elevator. You know, the more I fly it, the more it doesn't really feel twitchy to me, you know. It's just that I'm flying it in a little bit of wind, and it's a very lightweight plane. This one was 96 grams all up weight, so I just put it back into stabilized mode. I just want to slow it down out here in the wind. I don't know how long this battery is going to last. I got my timer set for 6 minutes again. But it looks pretty solid in fully stabilized mode. You can stall it. I've come close to stalling it a couple of times out here flying too slow. Way out there. So you get a little wing wobble out of it if you go too slow. Right across the sun again. And it's a pretty speedy little plane. I think it flies more like a sport cub, you know, than a bush plane, a true bush plane. That's what it feels like to me anyway. It feels more like a sport cub. As fast as it flies. And you can get pretty decent slow flight out of it. But if you get too slow, you will get some wing wobble out of it, you know. But what a fun little plane on 1S, man. That is hard to believe. That is just a 1S brushless system. They really did a good job with this plane. I don't know how long I've had it in the air so far. But look at that. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good slow flight capability with it. Make sure I don't get too low to the ground and hit it scrub. But that's pretty good, isn't it? You're going to have a lot of fun with this plane if you guys get one. And as you saw with the turn radius on this, you can fly it in a pretty small area. And, you know, mine's 96 grams all up weight. I mean, that is a light plane. This little thing shouldn't intimidate anybody, you know, if you're flying it on a park. Very cool. Okay, so I'm going to come back around and do a half circuit here, go downwind. Well, actually, I'm going to go crosswind. Make sure I don't have any walkers coming. We'll bring it in here and we'll set it down again and get a little bit more of a line up here on the runway. See if we can slow it down a little bit more than we did last time. Bounce. I bounced that one. Okay, so I can't bring this one in a crosswind as slowly as I can bring in a couple of the other little micro bush planes I have. Like I said, this one has a little less lift, I think. You know, it's not as floaty as some of the other micro bush planes I've flown, but it's a fun little plane, and it is very stable. You don't want to get too slow with it, or you get some wing wobble out of it. But pretty darn stable little plane, has a tight turn radius. It's going to be a keeper for me, guys. So I'm not sure. I'm going to change the linkage again on the rudder, and I want to change the linkage on the ailerons, but I don't know. I think I'm going to leave the elevator alone. It actually is not bad at all with the linkage set up on the elevator, but I do want a little more rudder and a little more aileron. So I will make those adjustments before I put it back in the air again. Alright, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the air.